We start out this episode with Gigi's transformation decimating half of the house and putting belt to ass on Oku before getting splashed with hot water from Momo's thermos to turn him back from the evil eye. Just as they complain about Gigi not lasting until the next day, 4 rockstar Power Ranger dudes cry out and strike a pose at the entrance to the temple. Real quick, let's go back and look at that hair down backshot frame of Seiko.
Sensational.
Okay, back on topic. They make a ruckus introducing themselves and Granny Seiko sends them on their way because she was tired of them. But after overhearing the conversation between Momo and Ira, they come back to ask to see if they were the ones that were requested to assist with the exorcism. They were Hayasi, spelled H-A-Y-A-S-I-I, business cards and all. Here we were expecting some sort of spirit medium group, but it was a literal rock band that couldn't even see or sense spirits, but they were special because the echoes of their sounds could reach into the spirit world. Sending for them makes even more sense when Granny Seiko says that their inability to sense spirits prevents their spirits from being dragged along by the evil spirits during the ritual. At first, they pump faked us like they had no idea how to play their fancy instruments, but as soon as the fire was lit and Gigi was laying flat on that stone table for the ritual, they immediately locked in. I'm talking blue background light and flawless guitar riffs to boot. The lead singer was shouting, "It's time for an exorcism," and then the rest of the band was playing like they were possessed. These could not be the same dudes that made the first corny introduction 10 minutes ago. They were cooking so hard that Momo, Ira, and Okurun had no choice but to bop their heads to the beat. The bass went so crazy that they had headstones in the cemetery shaking and spirits waking up after hundreds and thousands of years of rest. Momo and company literally start shaking their entire bodies in a violent motion, and Granny Seiko was in turbo mode while performing the ritual in the background over Gigi's body. These dudes were so locked in that they summoned an entire spirit audience that surrounded them and the ritual site during the performance. Gigi's body starts writhing and we see him beg for them to stop before Granny Seiko has Momo hold him down using her spirit hands, but not to get too close. However, when she does, the spirit of the evil eye shares what seem to be his memories with her directly into her soul, just as she experienced with Ira and the acrobatic Silky during season 1. Granny Seiko has heard enough, and in a surprising turn of events, she took a fire extinguisher and put out the flames before telling the band that their services were no longer needed because she was going to have the evil eye join their family. The gang questions her about the decision, but she simply says that Gigi has made his mind up and there's nothing more to be done. Ira complains about them having to always babysit Gigi forever as a result of this decision, but our cute nerdy King Okurun says that he'll just become stronger, so that way he can keep an eye on the evil eye and keep him in check if he should emerge out of Gigi again. Momo and Ira agree to get stronger and have a short verbal altercation, but just as things seem like they were getting to a good resolution, Granny Seiko goes to light a cigarette and realizes that it's starting to rain. But by the time she went to warn the rest of them, the evil eye had punched Okurun into the nearest building. The next scene, we see the packing and departure of the rock band that offered their services, also going forward into the future with business cards. After taking cardboard boxes to temporarily patch up the house, we see Momo and Gigi doing a bit of spirit-powered training, and Granny Seiko tells Gigi that with his potential, he could one day maintain the evil eye's abilities himself. We see Gigi go into the bathroom at night later on, and Okurun ends up getting up later and following to assist by making sure the water was hot first so he could wash his hands, and then by fixing the cardboard that had replaced the walls because they had morning dew on them and they were letting the outside air in. They have a heart-to-heart conversation where Gigi is sad because the situation is all his fault in his eyes, but Okurun explains his own early days with the family and and why things aren't so black and white. He recalled working as a paper boy to pay Granny Seiko back, but when he tried to give her the envelope with the money, she rejected him and told him to instead pass the favor forward if it meant so much to him and he wanted to pay somebody back. The next morning, we see them trying to get back to normal as we follow Ira's morning makeup routine and then watch them eat breakfast all together like one big happy family before heading off to school. The only ones that went though were Ira, Momo, and Okarun because Gigi stayed back cheering them on. We see Momo during the school day telling her besties that she plans on getting a part-time job to help repair the house and that she doesn't even care about buying a phone. They tell her that the one orbiter friend that they have is looking for people to help work, and Momo claims that despite her naturally argumentative nature, she's grown up now and can do what needs to be done on a job site. We jump to see our nerdy king Okarun packing up for the day, and then Momo's besties bombard him with the news of her plans. He nervously acknowledges it, but then they decide to kidnap him and force him to take them on a date against his will. He was resisting so hard that classmates in the hallway and grown adults by the crosswalk pulled out their phones to record the spectacle. He even tried to escape on the train but failed epically before attempting not to be dragged into a tea shop area, and once again that led to grown adults living grown adult lives to stop and record the foolishness. As you can expect, this was all a ploy to force a chance encounter between Okarun and his queen bee Momo on her first day at work in her maid uniform. And well, he was just as nervous as she was embarrassed, as you would imagine. With that being said though, if you made it this far in the video, I know this week's episode was rather tame all things considered, but you need a little bit of slice of life to break up the action-packed episode that came before and will naturally come afterwards. With that being said, if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, consider becoming a channel member. The link will be in the description. Comment your thoughts below, and as always, AYC, what you got for me?
She told my baby there's the three. She looked at me and showed a photo. Baby cried, his eyes were like mine.